and welcome back to another exciting episode of Metaverse Express Full Stop. I'm your host, Mona, and as always, we are here to bring you the hottest topics and trends, of course, in the metaverse with experts' insight from our special guests. Speaking of special guests, I am so excited to welcome back two amazing legends who joined us last week. And by the way, they stole the show. We have the incredible 3D digital artist and wearables creator, Kirzaz is back. Hi, my friend. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you so much for having this again. I'm really excited to continue these conversations about Decentraland.
Look at her looking so cozy in her fancy chair. I cannot wait for you to tell us where we are. But before we go there, we have the owner of the Wearables Museum and legendary collector. My friend Xeta is back too. Xeta, happy to have you again.
Thanks for having us back. It's cool to be back so soon already.
I know, but you know what, guys? We got so much positive feedback from last week's show where we were exploring the evolution of wearables and we're showcasing some of your awesome and rare pieces of collectibles and wearables. So now we had to come back for part 2, but this time we want to dive even a little deeper and get a up close and personal with more of your amazing digital pieces. Did you guys think, honestly, that people would be so interested in learning about wearables?
I mean, maybe from watching the video and seeing us run around and have a lot of fun with our friends, that when they come into Decentraland and they see that they don't have wearables, that they get excited and you want to learn more information and you want to dress good and you want to look cool in these virtual worlds. So it doesn't surprise me because we look cool on screen, and then when you jump in personally and you don't have any wearables, you definitely want as much information and you want to start collecting them yourself.
Xeta, do people ask you, oh my gosh, where'd you get that from? How can I get one?
Yeah, and especially back before the layer 2s came out and I had a lot of layer 1s and not a lot of people had outfits back then, and people would freak out when they'd see me in like whatever crazy thing that I was wearing, because I always like to have some crazy outfit ever since like day 1, basically. So it's fun to see where it's grown to at this point.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And you brought up layer 1 and layer 2. I'm going to have you explain some of that to us, because tonight we're going to go a little bit deeper to talk about inspiration, technology, the design of some of the pieces that you guys have in store for us. But I just have to say our viewers really loved you guys, and we're buckled up and ready to go to see what you are going to show us tonight. And let's start with where we are, because I've heard that Zaz, you built this amazing build out here. Tell us what this is. Where are we? What's going on here? Tell us.
Yeah, so I had the amazing opportunity by Carl Fravel and Xeta here. So Carl owns a large district within Decentraland, and he's the one who gave me the operation and gave Xeta operation. And we combined teams and combined our parcels to have this 2x2. I call this Xeta. So this is in the VRS district of Ethereum that Carl Fravel owns. And this is just like an immersive gallery to showcase some of my favorite creations by friends or some of the most recent works that we've had. I haven't updated it since November or December of last year. But a lot of people do come here it's just a little gallery, and it's just like to show off some of the creations that friends and little statues. I don't know. It's just like a little gallery to explore. And we like to come here and test our emotes. I remember when I first made this place, the chairs that we were sitting on in the beginning of this video, we actually didn't even have sit emotes. So people would come here and kind of test out the colliders. And I like this build because it's something that you can't really have in real life. These round, flowy tiles, it looks like it's almost like liquid, and I feel as if it'd be the worst thing ever to have in real life. But as a digital asset, it's really cool because you can kind of push these physical boundaries to whatever you'd like, basically. But around the place, we have a couple wearables, and upstairs I have a couple friends that I want to shout out later that are also creators within this space.
This is just so fascinating. I mean, How long does it take to build something like this?
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. So when Carl first contacted me and Zeta, we both had our own little parcels. This whole district, if you walk around these little like cul-de-sac, I guess, everyone has their own little showcase center. You could have built whatever you wanted to build. And so I kind of procrastinated this for a while, and me and Zeta didn't really know what we were both doing until we combined teams and said, let's just do something for fun. So it took me only a couple days overnight, along with some friends' help programming, but I would say less than a week to make something like this entirely, because I didn't have
Wow,
a
that's
concept design. It was just like messing
what?
around. Like, this is all just for fun.
That's fast, Zaz. I thought you were going to say like 6 months.
No way. I like no life blender. I'm obsessed with this stuff. And when it's for fun and you have the passion, you just do it because it's like what makes me happy. And it's really cool to see my friends and some of the creations that we make in world, and we can just do whatever here. It's funny.
Yeah, of course. And Zeta, I know while we're on this topic, I do want you to let the folks out there know that people can buy the land that Zaz has built on, right? So I could essentially buy and purchase the land, and then Zaz could buy a land or could even rent it from me and have a build out on it, correct? Can you kind of explain that to the viewers, how that works?
Yeah, so Decentraland is powered by NFTs, and so there's kind of three main NFTs within it, where there's land, wearables, and names. So if you have a land NFT, each one is tied to a specific parcel, where on the left-hand side of the screen it says -9323. So that's the specific coordinates of a parcel on this huge map that we have of the whole platform that has over 90,000 of these parcels on it. And you have some larger ones that are estates and stuff. Like this is a huge estate right here of combined parcels, where the more contiguous land you own, the larger you can build. And so it's cool because like this district, for example, is led by Carl, as she was mentioning, and he is the VRS district, and this is showcasing a lot of community creators. So Carl came to us and was like, hey, I'd love to feature you guys, and we ended up getting two places next to each other and kind of combined forces to have a 2x2, which is 4 parcels combined, which is basically the size of this. And you could buy the land, you could have it, you could give operation rights to other people such as Kurzaz. You could hire her to build something of like whatever you imagine. It's like a 3D MySpace page where you have like a Venn diagram box that's as big as many squares as you have, and you can kind of fill it with whatever you can imagine as long as it's within the data limits. Which is around like 15 megabytes per parcel right now. So it's pretty fun because you can kind of make an art gallery, you can make a store, you can make anything you could really imagine. And it's been fun seeing the creative ideas that people have come to the space to execute.
Yeah, I mean, people can have concerts, they can have, like you said, art galleries, they can even have their meetings on these lots. And again, guys, please remember, this is not a financial advice, and we're not telling you to come buy digital land, but we're letting you know and just teaching you about these opportunities that are in the metaverse that we want you to come and check out. Now, as you said, and I don't know if you want to go upstairs, I think Zaz wanted to show us something upstairs, but yeah. You mentioned some of these are 1x1s and then they're 2x2s, right? The sizes of parcels.
So if you can see across the street where I'm looking with those pink tiles, each one of those is a single tile of land, essentially. And so as large as you can get, the higher you can go and the more you can build, essentially. So you can get a 1x1 and you can build a small little art gallery like that guy has across the way, or you can make a little bigger thing like this 2x2 that we have here, or you can go as big as you have land ultimately.
Yeah. And then people can buy these on OpenSea, or do they have to wait for drops?
So basically, all of the land in Decentraland has been sold for years, actually. And it's been sold since like 2018. Yeah, so it's sold out in an initial land sale. And so the only way to get land in Decentraland now is to buy it from someone else that already has it. The platform's not selling any land, and you can buy it on OpenSea, where you can buy single individual parcels, or you could go on to the Decentraland marketplace, where you're able to also buy single parcels, but also estates. And then you have to transact it in mana, which is the currency of the platform, essentially. So there's like a whole nice little marketplace that you can go. You can like look at land listings. You can go jump in and basically take a look at it and then decide if that's the one for you or not, and then commit to it or not. And then that marketplace also features wearables and names.
Of course. And I actually was reading that there are brokers now too that will help you with this process. Mm-hmm. Now, Zaz, was there something you wanted to show us that you were going to go upstairs, or should we just start looking at some wearables?
Yeah, so I was just going to say we're upstairs currently, and I just a couple honorable mentions. Like some of these people standing around, I've got Xeta here. One of my favorite wearable creators is Blacknode and Doki. Tang Poco's up here. We've got a couple friends. Carl Fravel, shout out for the land operation. Nice. But this was just a good place to start off, just to kind of like start this call. And then we do have a couple more topics about wearables, like playing to earn. So if you don't want to spend any money and you just want to play a game and get materials and then craft a wearable completely for free, I think that'd be a really cool place. It's called Wonder Zone. If we want to head there next, that's like a really cool one. And then I guess you're right too, showing off some of our favorite wearables. We both have backpacks filled with NFTs, so it'd be kind of fun to do like a little fashion show and show off some of our favorite looks and talk about the creators as well.
We're here for the showdown. Let's do it. Should we start with your own wearables first? Because I'm looking at you guys and we haven't really talked about yours. So should we start there?
Yeah, I would love to. I keep wearing this tiger fit. It's my all-time favorite. This is the Warm Tiger Suit by Polygonal Mind. Within Decentraland, there's a lot of studios that are notorious for some of these high quality level, like this like stunning work. I would like to say dappcraft, Polygonal Mind, Low Poly Studios. There's some of my favorite creators in this entire world. So dappcraft is the shiny gold Diamantex that I'm wearing across my face. And then Polygonal Mind is the tiger suit. Doki is a lovely creator. She made the pigtails. And then the butterflies on top, I actually helped this guy named Duke. He made these butterflies. It's one of my favorite wearables that I created personally is Monarch Aura. I have like a big thing for butterflies, and that's what Xeta's currently wearing too, along with a bunch of L1s.
Wow, this is so awesome. So I didn't know that different artists can bring the pieces and you can put them all together as one then. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Decentraland's kind of, I like to explain it like Lego pieces. So think about like a little Lego man. There's the head, the upper body, the lower body, shoes. So these are all divided by category. When you're creating a wearable, each of these categories have limitations because this is a low poly world. So these limitations include 1,500 triangles per wearable for the upper body, lower body, head, and shoes. Accessories, it's more like 500. So it's a very optimized world. We go for 2 materials and 2 textures per wearable. There's a curation process along with like the submission fee. So it does cost 100 mana to submit any type of wearable. And it's at a fixed US dollar price. So whatever the equivalent of $100 US to mana is, that's what you'll pay for the submission. And then that's how Decentraland kind of keeps track and keeps everything within a safe community. There's a curation system where there's like the foundation's wearable committee, where they go through strict guidelines and strict limitations to make sure that all of these wearables are safe and optimized and not harmful to our ecosystem or community, of course. And it's a really smooth process. And we have so many friends that are, again, like when I first started Decentraland, I didn't even know how to use Blender. And what's so beautiful is a lot of people within this community, they learn and they start to get better to the point where they end up on the foundation or on the wearable committee's team. So a lot of our friends have blossomed into some really talented artists, along with having some control of the community by being on the foundation or being in the wearable committee.
Wow. So interesting. I didn't know this is such a collaborative process. Xeta, let's talk about yours. You're glistening over there with butterflies and sparkles. Tell us what's going on there.
As she was saying earlier, I really love the fact that you can combine a lot of things, whereas other profile picture projects, you're kind of stuck with whatever the traits and the attributes and like whatever, versus it's really fun that you can kind of pick your own anything you want from any creator. So like right now I'm wearing things from 5 different people actually, where it's like the Sugar Club shoes, and then the Wonderbot from the Wonder Zone, and then DC Meta was the sparkles, and then Zaz made the butterflies, and I don't even know who made the glasses that I'm wearing, but they're the beta glasses from last time. But it's really fun because you can kind of pick and choose and make your own outfit, and it's really fun because a lot of these people that are featured in here, they wear outfits where like, that looks like Tang Poco, if you remember from last time. They always have kind of a vibe, and it's like, it's interesting because people choose to represent themselves however they want. And you start to recognize people by that, where, they have their outfits that, Zaz is always wearing her orange tiger suit, for instance. But there's like some people that have their signature outfits, like Cyber Mike made this cyber suit. He's always wearing it. It's really rare to see him in it, but it's a cool thing when you get to. That being said, let's show you the backpack. So in here, it's interesting because you have all of these, like, you have the basic styles of things at the beginning of all of these tabs of like the non-NFT clothing. But then if you do have an NFT in your wallet, when you connect to Decentraland with that wallet, it'll scan that, oh, you have such and such token. Therefore, you can basically put this skin on, and you can change up whole outfits and, everything on here because of that. And so that's kind of the tech behind it, where, a lot of these are Ethereum NFTs, which were the original ones. And so, you just buy them on OpenSea. It'd be a gas fee transaction, whatever, they're layer 1. And then that moved on to the layer 2, where they're based on Polygon instead. And that really exponentially helps the amount of wearables increase from the original like 70,000 that there ever was on layer 1. Now there's like probably over 1 million on layer 2, within a year.
I don't want to interrupt you, but while you're on
Sure.
the topic, I do want you to explain to the folks the difference between layer 1 and layer 2 wearables. Why does that matter?
So basically, back when Decentraland first started, Ethereum was like, newer in general, and a lot of this was conceptually being created for the first time. And so Ethereum was the first I guess crypto that had NFTs on it, or digital collectibles. And so a lot of the original ones were made with that. However, they did have some downsides of, you had to pay an Ethereum gas fee transaction to get them or claim them, and that you would have to pay whatever the gas fee was. You'd have to pay ETH or Mana on OpenSea to buy them, or on the secondary wearables marketplace. And it would also be a gas transaction fee to like gas it and send it and buy it. And in 2021, that would cost upwards of $100 just to like mint the wearable, whatever it was, for some of the claims, like these artifact shoes. I remember being there on the day to claim them, and you had to pay gas. I paid like $70 in gas to get these virtual shoes, but it was, again, worth doing at the time. The switch to layer 2 moved it over to the Polygon/Matic network, which is basically cheap with gas fees, where it's like you don't really have gas fees. You can mint a wearable to someone for free. Like I could, get your wallet address and mint you anything that I want. That's the layer 2 from a collection that I've minted. And you would be able to get that. I wouldn't have to spend any money to mint it to you, because Polygon is basically for a higher volume of NFTs, and that really helps with Ethereum based NFTs are great for art collectibles or like high value items, but for a bunch of clothing and stuff, it makes a lot of sense to have it on layer 2, where it's just much cheaper to interact with and engage with, and also distribute them to the community if you're a creator, etc.
Zaz and I were talking about this. Zaz is finally designing me a reporter outfit, and it's Chanel inspired, guys. I am so excited about this. But I was asking her, when you build these wearables as a designer, and Zaz, feel free to answer this one, will I be able to bring this wearable into Decentraland and take it to Spatial and maybe take it to another platform? So that interoperability, where are we with that right now?
It's kind of interesting because as an independent artist, when I make a wearable for Decentraland, it's all in GLBs primarily. So when you're working with spatial or even like VR chat, you can use these GLBs quite cohesively depending on the limitations of the other worlds. So Decentraland's very low poly, which means everything's tiny. And it seems to me that a lot of other virtual realities have a lot larger of limitations. So I like to say everything in Decentraland can be used elsewhere, but it depends on the other way around. I don't think a lot of things are necessarily easy to bring into Decentraland. But I will say for Hyperfi, for example, Hyperfi uses VRMs for their wearables. And as an independent artist, I offer that when I create wearables for any of my friends or any of my clients. I make VRMs, GLBs, FBXs, anything that you potentially could need as a file type I include, just so you could go and run around anywhere you want with your look. It's really cool. I think interoperable wise, yes, a lot of things can come out of Decentraland to other worlds. It just depends on who makes it and if they're including more files besides just a GLB.
Got it. So it just depends, and you can talk to your designer about that depending on where you're going to be utilizing that wearable, right?
Yeah, because there's a lot of strategy behind it and technical skill as well, because Decentraland, we all use one armature. So when you're creating a wearable, we're given some base files by the foundation that has like the entire single armature that we use, one armature for male and one armature for female. It's the same vertex groups for all of these wearables. So for Decentraland, you can only have like a humanoid shape. I remember we have like a couple weird skins here, like that's like a cockroach or a cat or something that's not human-like. They're not necessarily allowed anymore. And I feel like that's what's funny is VR chat and spatial and Hyperfi can be more virtual reality, as in you're putting on an Oculus, you're putting on a headset. So this roach, for example,
Oh my gosh.
this is what's crazy. It's the same armature as all of the wearables that you're seeing. Even the human Kirzaz right there. She's the same skeleton as this cockroach. This cockroach is completely weighted to either the left or right foot. So if you have an Oculus on, like a VR
Oh my
headset,
gosh. I don't know if I want to put an Oculus on and hang out with this cockroach.
well, I'm trying to say is when you're wearing the headset and you're that cockroach, when you take a step with your foot, it moves the whole cockroach. Like it's very
Wow.
that one skin's not interoperable, I'd like to say. And I think Decentraland caught on that, and they have made it a rule that it has to be a humanoid shape and it has to match the armature. So again, depending on other virtual realities and other metaverses limitations, if they accept Decentraland's armature, then 100% it should be really easy to have an avatar anywhere, really.
Awesome.
And
Very
I'd like to
cool.
add to that,
Yeah.
actually, is that Decentraland is also Unity based. And so a lot of these wearables are based on a Unity model of like 3D file and skeleton, which is pretty much like a industry standard across multiple platforms. So like the interoperability of moving forward from here is really a lot. You know, there's a lot of people that are turning their Decentraland avatars, they're getting the GLBs from that, they're turning them into streamers. Like our friend Morph is able to stream with his whole outfit that he's made, and he's got a really good setup of that. And a few other people have done that too, and they're just taking the files that are universal and then being able to plug them into these other spaces that let you do that. So it's pretty cool.
I'm sure we all would want to do that as a metaverse host and reporter. I want to be able to be in my Zaz Chanel attire wherever I go, because I want to carry that brand with me as well. Brand being Zaz, of course. But speaking of brands, take us to the wearables. Let's talk about them. This right here, is this Zaz?
It is.
This is, so I've been kind of vibing with the orange lately because I don't see a lot of people wearing orange, and my hair is dark black in real life. So I think it's funny. I'll never have light orange hair or blonde hair like ever. So what's really fun about wearables is you can be and dress however you want. The jumpsuit that I'm wearing right now, I think it's by Diverge, and it's a Lilu jumpsuit. So I think it's kind of inspired by Fifth Element or like a Diverge high-end metaverse fashion look. I'm not too sure, but just anything orange right now. I've been kind of just going with the whole vibe, and same with this build Expo Zaz. I love the orange. I wanted to jump over to Wonder Zone, Zeta,
cool.
so we can talk about some play to earn stuff.
Rarity is often obviously a key factor in determining the value of a wearable. How do you balance this desire to create something truly unique, but then with the need to make it more accessible to a wider audience? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually completely understand this because we've been talking about it. Me and my friends have been talking about it as creators. It's difficult because sometimes you make something and it's so special to you and it's like one of the best things you've ever made, right? So you want to make it a unique or you want to make it a 1 of 10, but then you have 30 people, 40 people messaging you saying, I need it, how do I get my hands on it? And then you kind of say, well, shoot, would it be better to have a bunch of people have it and see a whole world full of my wearable, or to only have like a certain amount of people and have it be limited and make it feel a little more special? I think that value is really hard to determine.
Yeah.
I'm not here to like influence anyone in any way, but I think mythics are my favorite. I love the 1 of 10. I think I like the pink background of having a mythic. I remember mythic L1s are just disgustingly rare and really expensive if you're trying to get them secondary. Good luck.
Yeah.
But
There's
I
only
really like
1,000 of them.
mythics. Yeah, I think
Wow.
mythics right now have a really good game, and I've noticed some I feel as if mythics are higher quality GLBs to like some real decent 3D work.
I was wondering what your process is when someone comes to you and says, design me a piece, or even when you design them for yourself. Do you want it to be so that everyone, just like, when you D&G or Gucci or Chanel, I mean, it's that FOMO that makes everybody want it, right? So I guess you have to decide depending on the piece, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to bring that up with you actually. So when we make the Chanel set, it's up to you. Do you want it to be a unique that only you'll have and you'll stand out and you'll have people wishing that they had it? Or do you want to have like a little team of people and you want to see a couple of them? And this is what's interesting about Decentraland is the rarities come in set categories. So you have the options to do a 1 of 1, a 1 of 10, a 1 of 100, 1 of 1,000, 1 of 10,000, and then 1 of 100,000. So those are all the colors you see here, the pink, the blue, the yellow, the green. Pink is mythic, yellow is unique, purple's legendary. I believe blue is epics, which are 1,000s. Green is 10,000, which is a common, and then, or uncommon, I should say. And then the gray one is out of 100,000, or is it the Cian, that little light teal color? That's the most common. I noticed a lot of brands like this cat head, for example. I actually made this wearable as well. This is for Snapple. This was the deity cat for the Snapple Elements, the new 3 drink products that they had to offer. They wanted that to be everywhere. So it's actually out of 100,000. I don't think they'll ever hit that number. I'm not too sure, but they're sitting on it, and those can still be minted to this day, which is really cool. Like if you ever want one, I can send you a couple of these cat heads, actually. That's what's kind of fun about having extras. You can burn them, you can sit on them, you can give them out to friends. It's totally up to you.
How are brands utilizing these wearables? Is it an extension of their brand? I can see fashion brands that would be an extension of, their new line. But you also see Miller Lights or, Samsung. Just any brand at this point is getting into these wearables. How are they utilizing it?
I can answer that. We've worked with several in the space where, we've had Atari come, we've had, Binance come, we've had several other like Snapple, Coca-Cola even came. Like Coca-Cola came and made a mythic Coca-Cola red t-shirt. That's such a common thing in the real world, but there's only 10 of them in the metaverse, which is kind of crazy for Coke to come in and raffle those off to people in such a way. And I think that it helps these brands have a presence within the space where it's almost like free advertising. You can come in, give someone a shirt or a wearable or whatever it is, and then they'll wear it and advertise your brand for you. People, especially if it's a cool wearable, people will be excited about it and want it and want to wear it. And then, like I saw the other day, there was like a space party with a bunch of Samsung aliens hanging out on people. It was really funny. But of all the people that had gone to the Samsung event were at this like alien related party, and they were all wearing the alien things. And it was kind of fun to see people being able to use those and piece them together with other outfits. And then the cool thing is that a lot of the people in the community have actually helped make these things for these brands where, like all these companies came to people such as ourselves to have help of like, hey, we want to do something in the space that'll go over well and be meaningful to the community, and that people will want to participate and be a part of it. And we've tried to help them have a good experience doing that and being able to be representing themselves in a new frontier, essentially.
Yeah. And I'm sure once interoperability is more stable across platforms and secure, that you're going to see these wearables going platform to platform, and maybe people even be wearing them in games too, right? I mean, the sky's the limit. You can just have your digital identity travel through these realms with the wearables that everybody wants to have, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of made my moves where she was mentioning earlier that the layer 1 mythics are kind of really sought after, and that's because there's only 1,000 of them total, and there's like 1 of 10 items, and there's only so many of those items in existence, and so it's really special to have those. And I have quite a few myself, and most of my outfits usually made of those because I got them a long time ago. And now they're hard to come by.
That dress you were wearing right before this one, well, tell us about this one. And then the dress you were wearing was very cool too.
Oh my goodness, I'm like going through my whole backpack right now. Was it like a puffy black dress by Dazzle? Or was it I think you were talking about Ferocious, the Paris Hilton. Yeah. So
bring it.
Let me put it on. Yeah. So this is actually a Paris Hilton dress. I remember she had a live DJ performance for Metaverse Music Festival in 2022. So this is when I think we had deadmau5 and Akira the Dawn and like some really, Dylan Francis. We had some really cool people show up in Decentraland and had a great, huge week-long festival of music, basically. And Ferocious, who I think is a young artist who drew this dress for Paris Hilton, and it was a collaboration between the both of them. I actually got this dress for free. It was just an airdrop for participating and being an active player during the Metaverse Music Festival. I was just a random airdrop. So that means you were active in the scene and they somehow just send you this Polygon NFT that you can now wear in World. And what's cool is I think the secondary value of this dress is like significantly high. Like I could sell this for 500 mana or something right now, but it's not for sale. I'm not selling it.
Of course.
This is a legendary dress though. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, it's so Paris Hilton. Now, did she have a copy of, I want to say a copy of this, a version of this?
Actually, she did. So Paris Hilton had a virtual avatar. She had a little like statue of her wearing this dress all posed up with like a little photo shoot background. A lot of friends took some really funny pictures. I remember one picture in particular by Tazzy. Tazzy, if you're listening, you took the best picture with the Paris statue ever. It was so cute. But Paris Hilton actually performed her entire DJ set with her virtual avatar wearing this dress. And then the following day, we all got the airdrop, and it was like only a few of us there's only 100 of these dresses. So you had to be a little lucky. And I was so fortunate and so lucky that day that I ended up with it.
Gosh, I can imagine how rare these will be in 10 years. So yes, girl, hold on to these. Not for sale, folks, not for sale. You had Xeta. I don't know if you had changed your pants. You had something on. I know your Coca-Cola shirt is a rare and you're not selling that one either. What else you got for us?
Let's see. So, I mean, flipping through here, I actually have I have one of the first Bored Ape Yacht Club's heads that got put into the metaverse. I used to have this Bored Ape once upon a time, and I made the head for it. And so it was the first one at the time, but then they came afterwards and they ended up making a whole wearable mech robot that I got to help them out with. And that was kind of fun, where this is a crazy outfit I'll put on real quick. But it's fun because there's just so many different outfits. It's almost overwhelming to try to think of the options as I'm, 7 pages of just shirts that I have to pick from.
Look at that closet, guys.
Yeah, it's bad. It's too much sometimes.
Never.
And then yeah, this is the whole thing to make the whole outfit. But like for instance, this is a whole outfit of like 4 different pieces. That this was a treasure hunt prize for the Bored Ape Yacht Club having their first treasure hunt. And if you figured out the bonus and entered that code, you would get this minted to you. And out of the 1,000 possible, there's only like 400 of them got minted or something like that. And each person only got 1 piece. So, you'd have to kind of trade with other people or buy them to get the whole robot. But, if you assembled the whole robot, this is kind of what you got. So it's kind of fun to have those sorts of experiences in here. Or, they even dropped a brand hoodie to everyone, where like there's a layer 2 wearable. When they first came out, they gave the hoodie that's like the real life hoodie that they sold to everybody that had one at the time. So it was like basically an airdrop to all people that met the certain requirements. And they gave out several thousand of these hoodies, and they did it on a layer 2 NFT, where it was like, oh, we're going to just scan everybody that has this wallet, has this in their wallet. Boom, we're minting 5,000 of them right now. Everybody just got one. It didn't cost us anything in gas other than that $100 fee to submit the wearable.
By the way, that's a digital, right? Because I've seen people wear that in real life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so there's only like a few thousand of them in the metaverse, and unlike the real one, it doesn't get messed up, it doesn't get ripped, it doesn't get faded or whatever. It's perfect forever. And so that'll be fun to see how these age as well. Where the floor of these hoodies, again, they were free, but they were like 0.2 ETH for a while, which is crazy for a free hoodie that was just airdropped to people.
Very, very, very cool. Wow, those. Oh yeah, that's the Marco. Is that Mark?
Yeah, so Marco-Matic actually made
Matic. That's
this
right.
Is one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite outfits. Actually,
I love those. Wow.
Yeah, he hand drew all of this. He's incredibly talented, and like the way he does his art's really amazing. And I actually got these minted directly from him to me because I like loved his work and I'm friends with him, and so I was able to get a set of these. Which was really exciting because now he's like not minting any more of this, and there's only it's a legendary, which means you can have up to 100 of them, but there's less than 30 of them minted. So it's like a 1 of 30 Marco-Matic piece, which is very special to have like wearable art. That's like, look how amazing the detail is.
That's museum quality right there. That's museum.
This actually is in the museum, I think, is the whole outfit. And he was one of the special artists that got to make wearables back in the day. This is a layer 1 wearable too. Like he has layer 2 wearables, but these are his special layer 1 outfit, which is really a wild outfit. You don't really see too many people with this.
No, that's
Zaz with her.
one of one right there. Zaz, tell us what you got on too. That's beautiful. That's very cool. That's festival right there. Screaming festival.
Yeah. So I forgot what weekend it was, but just the other weekend it was Carnival. So this is in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And this was a collaboration between me and Tank Poco and the DCL Baby Dolls. So they wanted something feathery and fun. And this is actually a mythic. So me and Tank Poco worked out a little deal. This was my original concept. It was like purple and pink and really girly. And Tank Poco actually in the dolls wanted a RGB version. So RGB in Decentraland, you know how you can change the color of your hair and change the color of the skin and all of these wearables. We have it all full color spectrum RGB version that we had made public. And then me and Tank Poco secretly made this mythic collection. So there's only 10 of these. I gave a couple out to some friends. I still have a few more. So if, maybe Mona, if you need a really fun outfit, maybe I mint you one of these.
EDC, any music festival. Yes, I'm going to have to come back to you. Now I know who to go to. Guys, you want to do virtual music festivals? This is your wardrobe designer right here. That's just so cool. I love that. Beautiful.
It's really hard making some of these wearables in Decentraland too because of the Lego piece build. So if you notice the high heels, this upper body, lower body, and shoes is actually just one wearable. And then the helmet is its own separate wearable. And when you stack multiple categories together, you actually increase the limitation. So I kind of finesse as an independent artist when you have multiple upper body, lower body, and shoes all together.
Look at that. Yeah.
I believe I believe all of the limitations are multiplied by 3. So it's a little bit easier and smarter if you are creating for Decentraland to maybe include your upper body and lower body together, or the lower body and the shoes together, so you can get a little bit of a higher platform and a higher heel.
Right, right. I see. But what makes it rare? What makes a wearable rare? Is it just like when we're looking at Marcomatic Designs? Did I say his last name right? I don't want to butcher that.
Yeah.
Is it because of the artistry, or is it the tech? What makes them rare?
I would say both, because Marcomatic's a legendary artist outside of Decentraland. So even if he comes into Decentraland and makes a rock, like just a boring rock, it'll still be Marcomatic's rock. So he's bringing value because he's already a notorious artist. I say that's really valuable because of people like Ferocious or Paris Hilton. Like, you know what I mean? We see a lot of outside artists who come here and actually bring their own value within the ecosystem. But then also there's creators who aren't well known, and they bring value by using just strong talent and just really good passion. I also think value comes from the rarity. So if you're looking at a unique versus something out of 100,000, that also speaks for itself. I think it's a little bit of everything, along with personal style and what you think is valuable. I remember a long time ago, there weren't a lot of women in Decentraland, and there weren't a lot of female wearables in general. Now there's high heels and shoes and all these different hairs. It's lovely to see. And I think as we keep expanding, the definition of value and rarity will be more individualized per person.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Xeta, if people have never been here and they don't own a wearable, where do they start? I know for me, I was coming into the space, I was coming into Decentraland, and I was looking around, and I was like, wow, everyone looks so good. And look at me, this is terrible. I need help. So talk to the people who have never been here and they're newcomers, and they want to know, what is the right wearable for me? How do I start?
So I think a good thing is, just kind of jump in and see what people are wearing, kind of see what you like. There's so many, like, look at this, there's a group of robots over here that are all dancing with some skin that I've never seen before, but they all have it and they're all dancing together and having a good time. It's funny. And it's fun because it's like, for instance, if I want to join them and it's like, dang, that's such a cool skin, I could click on it and then I could see robot lobster, and then guess what, I could click buy and it would take me directly to it. So if I see anything I like on someone, I can click on buy and it'll take me directly to where it is on the marketplace. And then I can potentially buy it if there's one for sale. So that's kind of a cool thing that is a somewhat new feature in Decentraland, is that you can click on someone and, like, this guy's wearing the Doritos outfit.
What? I didn't know this existed. Wait. I didn't know this existed. This is new?
Yeah, so this is a new feature where you can go up and click on any person and it'll show you all of their equipped wearables. And then it'll show you, like, if it's a layer 1, it'll take you to the link of it on OpenSea. Otherwise, if it's something that's in the marketplace on layer 2, it'll take you directly to the Decentraland website where you could purchase it. So, for instance, Zaz is wearing something that she created and that, someone's like, wow, that's so cool, I want that. You can click on it and go buy it. Like, here's a friend of ours, Murph. It's funny. It's like Murph is wearing a whole crazy outfit of things.
Yeah. So wait, can I talk about this outfit real quick? That's actually by a friend. His name is Yanakis. He also has this play to earn. I think it's called like Knights of Antron. And this wearable was in collaboration with Tang Poco and the DCL Baby Dolls. This was the most recent thing I think they created. It's so fun. It's so amazing. And I also wanted to bring up, there's this big space called Wearable Wednesday. So tonight, I believe at 6 p.m., there's going to be this big party at the DCL Baby Dolls. And it's every Wednesday, by the way. So I think early in the morning, they have a Twitter space. I was in it this morning. I was just listening. But it's every Wednesday. I'm not too sure the time, but it's called Wearable Wednesday. And if you are interested in Decentraland, interested in wearables, there's Twitter spaces in the morning and then parties in the evening. So if you want more information, and definitely on a Wednesday, come through and start looking at some wearables.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I got educated, actually, through Twitter Spaces and just getting to know people that come in and designers that are available in the space. Was there anything else we want to look at, guys? And I also wanted to kind of introduce where we were. We never told the folks where we were, Xeta, and that second space. Where were we there?
So right now we're at the Wonder Zone, and this is actually one of the most popular areas in Decentraland. That's kind of been one of the most, since day one, since I've come here, it's always been within the top, basically 2 to 3 places. There's 52 people here right now. Essentially, you kind of go, and it's a game where it's like you have a certain amount of coins in the bottom right-hand corner that reset every day. And you can go mine rocks, and you can basically mine these meteors that fall to the ground, and then in a second here a little screen will pop up that I got such and such materials. It's almost kind of like a RuneScape kind of vibe, where it's like, oh, I got a wonder coin, sapphire, iron, ruby, and then I'm going to mine this one too, and you see it every time I mine one, 5 coins go away. Essentially, back in the day, this is one of the places where you could get layer 1 wearables, where inside of here they made the Wonder Bot. As you saw, this is something I was wearing earlier, but this is the place that it came from, and there's only 10 of these. And that's a mythic outfit right there that is completely sold out. You can't get that unless you buy it from someone secondary, but they have a nod to it here. And then the cool thing is that it actually, if you have that outfit, it gives you a bonus to this mini game activity. So it's like you get higher percentages of things. And then basically over here, you have this whole interface where it has all the tools and things, where it's like you can make all these at certain levels. You make a certain amount of these wearables tokens, and then that's what it's like. You can make the shirt, you can make the hat, make these things, but then all these other things are sold out. There's like a bunch of things that are sold out. There's a bunch of new things. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. I haven't seen this, but there's a bunch of different options of outfits and other things that, minimum level 100. That's like crazy. Not very many people can get that.
So essentially, your wearable can also give you access to other things too, right? Sometimes wearables can open doors to events, right?
Yeah, so the way that this place's wearables work is that all of them basically were earned from here, except for those Wonder Bots were put up for auction a long time ago. And then they made it so, if you come here and you mine enough things and get enough resources and tokens, and, if you'd come back then, it was like certain times they'd turn on the mint. It's like you would be able to cash in all of your stuff that you basically gathered and turn it into whichever wearables. And it was such a fun thing back then of like, oh, I'm trying to get, such and such piece, where you could only pick one thing basically, because the amount of people that were trying to be there and gather it. And then, it's cool because then they made it so if you have any one of these wearables, it gives you a percentage boost of, 5% per piece or something like that, to getting better drops when you're participating in the activity, almost like a traditional game. It's like you basically play, level up, get some new gear, and then with the new gear, you're able to get better things. And they've essentially coded that into this experience here.
Oh my gosh.
Whereas not a lot of other places do that.
Right. Xeta, you just showed up glowing. Tell us about this outfit.
Oh, here's Oz right here, man.
I mean, sorry.
No worries. So this is one of my favorite L1s that I own. So this is based on the Ethereum network, and it's made by dappcraft. This is the Moon Miner collection. So you were just talking about utility with NFTs and even token gating some of like these parcels and these spaces that if you own the NFT, then you can access it. So these wearables at Wonder Zone actually give me a mining bonus. So when I'm mining these meteors, if I wear this outfit along with a bunch of other outfits, even the ones in the crafting machine, they enhance your experience here at the mines.
Right. And sometimes their access to events. There's a lot of perks to owning these wearables, as we often talk about utility. So they're not just wearables, guys. A lot of times, in many cases, they're more than the NFT. And I think that brings the value. When we were talking about value, I think that's where the value lies in what doors does this NFT open outside of being a piece of history, really.
Yeah, and it's fun when you have them that they are utility. Whereas, like I had mentioned last time, there was the Sugar Club, which I have a few of their NFTs, and it's a pair of glasses that if I wear these pair of glasses, I'm able to click through and go into a VIP area in the Sugar Club. it's the Yumi retro shade. So it's like a 1 of 100 pair of glasses that, gives you VIP access. That's like you can't walk through this invisible wall unless you have these glasses. Then you click on it and then the wall disappears. But if you don't have it, it'll say, oh, you need the NFT in your wallet. But clicking on it basically scans your wallet. It's like, oh, this person has this in your wallet, therefore they're able to come through. And it's cool because if you own your land, you can create that as an experience. So like, for instance, the Expo Zaz that we were at earlier, if she really wanted, she could make it so you can't go upstairs there unless you own one of her wearables or something like that. And it's, you see it in clubs in here where it's like you can get into the VIP deck or the lounge or like some crazy place that, people can't get to otherwise unless they have the exclusive wearable. And that's kind of fun because there's been a few events that, like, there was an Amy Winehouse event even that's like you had to have the wearable to participate in the event even and see the stream. You can have it where you can't see the stream that's playing unless you own the wearable. It's really interesting how you can use them for the rules that you want to apply to whatever you're coding.
I have to say, in the physical world too, I remember when I was at NFT NYC last year, the side events for a lot of these brands, you had to show your NFT at the door, and that was your key to get in. And guys, what's cool about this is that nobody can copy each other's ticket because they wanted to see your NFT in your wallet. So it's just fascinating how this next iteration of, events and the doors that these NFTs and tickets are going to open for folks and the experiences they can have through owning these pieces of NFTs is just so fascinating. But as we start to close, and let me know if there was anything we missed, I do want you guys to talk about, when you look in the future of digital wearables, there are so many opportunities, but there are also so many challenges. Zaz, why don't you talk about the opportunities that you see these wearables bringing to individuals, to brands, to education, design, and then Xeta, if you want to talk about the challenges that we still have that we need to mitigate.
Yeah, so when it comes to opportunities, I will say I'm young, and when I first started playing this world, it was strictly for fun. It was playing this world with my friends. I didn't know how to use Blender. I wasn't making money from this platform. I wasn't doing this as a full-time job. I didn't even have the skills to even think about those things. But through time and through passion and trust, I started to learn a free software called Blender and ended up making things for myself. That led to making things for others, that then led to making things for big brands and seeing some opportunities that I would not see in real life probably. Like, I haven't gone to university. I don't have a big portfolio working with Lady Gaga or any, like Estee Lauder, these crazy brands that just jump into Decentraland and kind of recruit people within the community who make quality work that have good energy and positive backing within this ecosystem. It's huge. It's such an important lifestyle. It's so different too. It's not just waking up, clocking in, and then doing some 9-to-5 job and then clocking out. I truly felt passionate about 3D and just kind of making stuff for myself that then led to a beautiful career opportunity. So I think for anyone out there who is curious, is it possible? Would it work? I think do it for yourself first, and then the opportunities will follow.
Absolutely. And Xeta, what are you seeing that we still have to, on the tech side, mitigate?
I think the tech side is people just have to have a better understanding of crypto and Web3 in general, and wrap their heads around the idea of having one account that's like a MetaMask wallet, and they have all their collectibles. It's an interesting thing versus previous social medias. You would represent yourself by pictures that you would post online of whatever it was. This version is interesting because it's like you kind of show your support of people, and that's kind of like your representation of someone could look through my wallet and OpenSea and see who I believe in as artists and what kind of things that I collect. And they can see the history of that and how long I've had that and like, well, what it is. And, they see me in Decentraland, they can go find my OpenSea and go figure out what it is exactly. But I feel like a lot of people aren't so familiar with that as of yet. Most people that have played any kind of game that they've been able to have a virtual avatar represent themselves and have some customization to it will be a bit ahead of the curve. Because again, there's so many games that you could kind of, whatever skin you have in Overwatch, or, if you have cosmetic items on RuneScape, or, whatever game you're playing, World of Warcraft, like all these games have cosmetic, cool novelty items that are, sought after. Some people spend hundreds of dollars on Counter-Strike skins, for example. So it's interesting. I think that, people onboarding into this space is kind of a big limitation. And then once people start to get the hang of it and interact with it and understand good security practices, then, people start to get a hang of it. And there's some valuable lessons to be learned within it. And then as far as technology goes, I feel that, again, Decentraland as a platform, it is like a big open creative space. It is a platform. It's not like these other companies with a central driving CEO that's pushing it forward. And like the big brands that, as Oz was just mentioning, they have come to the space and they've directly hired people within the space. The Decentraland Foundation has recommended people. Whereas like I'm personally renting Samsung their land. I helped Netflix, I helped Snapple, I helped like all these other companies come to the space because I have a background in marketing and advertising and production in the real world, that I saw this space and I was like, wow, this is such a cool canvas. It's like a blank canvas to fill with whatever you can imagine. And I think that it's just taking some time for more people to be coming here and building things. Whereas like this Wonder Zone is a pretty sophisticated thing of like, having the mechanic of like all the things that are falling from the sky and giving resources and being able to turn those into wearables. And like most people are not going to casually come by a parcel and build an experience like that. It's really, it's up to the big brands that are coming into the space and paying for experiences to be created by people that understand the space and what will work within it and the limitations of it, to do that. And I think that's really incredibly unique within Decentraland. Whereas like if this was a Facebook or Meta platform, it's like that, like Netflix or Snapple would have had directly to go talk to Zuckerberg's people and like, this is what we want to do, and that would have been a whole like internal process. But no, Samsung isn't doing anything with the Decentraland Foundation. They're working with me directly, and I'm hosting their content for them as an individual, which is really
Isn't that crazy?
Cool.
That's such an amazing opportunity. I really want to acknowledge that because, I always say Web3 is such a blank canvas for anyone to come in. And again, this is not financial advice. We're not telling you guys to come and buy a piece of parcel because Samsung is going to rent it from you and you're going to be like Xeta and Samsung's landlord. But the truth is you can. Right. And yes, the parcels might all be sold out, but we're still so early because I always look 10 years from now. Right. If I come and even buy that parcel from somebody else, when the masses come in here, then it's my opportunity because I was here and I already established, like in my case, that newsroom, right? When the news comes in, when the big brands come in, then they're going to look at the people who are here already and have established that genre within this digital environment. So come in. Again, this is not financial advice, but come in and find your place here, find your genre. I mean, I know so many people that have left their traditional jobs and they've come into Web3 to do exactly what Zaz is doing, to do exactly what you are doing and myself, because this is a blank canvas for everyone. So I just want to say what you're talking about is still available and doable for everyone out there to come in, but you just have to do your own research, learn about this space, connect, and build those relationships so that you can have your own little world, create your own little world, and be ready for when the masses and the brands come in, right?
Yeah, and I think that, as you say, in 10 years from now, I'm curious to see how this space evolves. I feel like this is almost on a platform level as like Craigslist in terms of it's so simple and for the public, and like, who's Craig? Nobody knows really. It's just there, and it's like an amazing use for whoever wants to use it. And it's cool because Decentraland is shaped by its DAO and its community, and it's not like some CEO that everyone doesn't like him what they're doing with the company. It's more like everybody that collectively is a part of it and owns it gets to vote on things and gets to choose the shape and direction of the space. And I think that is really truly unique and incredible. And I don't really see any other major metaverse platforms coming out that the CEOs will just kind of like burn the keys to the kingdom and walk away from it and like let it be its own thing. And then I think that this is a unique one where it's like it's the first and it's most likely going to be the only one that has that approach, and it's fun. And why I was so drawn to it, and technically speaking, because again, it's like everything is owned by someone. Like I own a part of this world that I can do whatever I want with it. And that was the most exciting thing that brought me to this space ultimately. And then through that, you know, I've met amazing people like Kirzaz and so many other creators such as like Marco Matic, like all these like me and Kat, all these people that I would have never necessarily met or had access to, but then here I am talking to them over a headset or Discord, and we're running around in this virtual space together with whatever crazy outfits, and we're watching, you know, live sets or DJs or whatever experience is going on, or like checking out some art gallery or show, or trying to like get this cool wearable, or, you know, like, hey, everybody come to this thing, this is what's happening right now, and like trying to get all your friends to come and get the thing before it's gone. And it's a really good sense of community that I've not really seen in other places, and like especially during the COVID pandemic and other things, is a really great place for people to kind of come and interact with other people in a somewhat organic way, where it was like a little silly and different but fun at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Zaz, any final words? I also want you to let people know how they can reach out to you if someone is wanting to get their first wearable designed by you. Where can they find you and how can they get that process started?
I just want to say thanks again for this opportunity to talk about the world that we spend so much time in. Making wearables is honestly one of my favorite things to do. I also love doing scenes too. If you want to contact me, I'm available on Discord, literally 24/8. I'm always running around Decentraland. I'm on Twitter. It's Kirzaz3D. So if you are interested and you want anything made, I'd love to help out and get some more creations into this world, especially female wearables. I'm so excited to create something unique for you, Mona. It's really exciting.
Me too. I cannot wait for my Chanel inspired wearables, guys. It's coming soon to Decentraland. Here I come. Here I come. Well, Zaz, Xeta, thank you both so much for taking us into your world tonight. Honestly, your passion for this space is so infectious, and that's why we all came back to get more of it, not to mention your insight and, of course, your expertise. So thank you again for this awesome presentation. Xeta, you ran this ship beautifully. Thank you.
Of course, anytime. A pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you. And I hope that you guys, the viewers, enjoyed this deep dive into the technology, the design, and the inspiration behind some of these very unique wearables that Xeta and Zaz shared with us. So thank you for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you again soon for more exciting adventures in the metaverse. I'm your host, Mona. Until next time.